My friends, we are witnessing the modern-day David versus Goliath unfolding right before our eyes. Internet day traders are beating the big hedge fund honchos at their own game, and Wall Street's having none of it. Here's the latest with financial expert and founder of Penn Financial Group, Matt McCall. Matt, good to see you.
Great to see you, Buck. Thanks for having me.
Matt, just give the folks at home a little sense. There might be a little background necessary here for why is GameStop and Robinhood and all these other stocks that they're now restricting trading on, why is this for some perhaps the biggest story in the country right now? Why does this matter?
Well, it matters to me because this all kind of started as a game about a week or so ago where they're trying to take down the hedge funds, the little guys. And that's fine. I'm all for the little guys. But my fear was that Wall Street and the big banks and the governments not going to be happy with it. And when they're not happy, Buck, what does that lead to? Insane regulation. And we saw some of that today. So what Robinhood did, and Robinhood is this free app where you can go buy shares with no minimum. It's really for the average everyday investor. And what's funny about this is their motto is democratize finance for all. So basically they're here for everybody. They're the modern day Robinhood. Well, we actually
have a tweet we could show from them, Matt, for everybody at home, that their motto, in a sense, is let the people trade. Well, the people have been trading, Matt. Go ahead.
Oh, they have been trading, but today, because of their trading, they sent these hedge funds that are short these stocks, GameStop and a few others, they losing billions and billions of dollars. So what does Robinhood do? They stop the trading in these stocks. So they're there for the people, but in reality, again, this is Wall Street being there for Wall Street. This is what I call, Buck, this is old Wall Street. New Wall Street's on its way up, and I can't wait to see them demolish it.
It seems like it's fair to say, Matt, that the game is rigged here. And you have, for example, the NASDAQ CEO, Adena Friedman, coming down against these everyday traders, saying that well, here you go. We can play the clip for you.
As we look at these new technologies that are there available to everyone, including investors, I think it's also important for regulators to understand that manipulation is manipulation, whether it's happening through a new technology medium or it's happening through traditional mail. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that we understand what the behavior is, what's underpinning the behavior, and working appropriately with the regulators to manage the situation.
Matt, the more I talk to people like you who work in this field and professionals that really get it, they're saying this isn't manipulation. They saw something. They saw weakness. These hedge funds forgot about all their risk parameters. They're supposed to hedge. It's in the name. They weren't hedging. They were all in, betting on essentially the destruction of GameStop as well as some of these other companies. And they bet against the bet on destruction, right? I mean, why are they getting away now with saying that this is somehow manipulation?
It's not manipulation. The price of a stock is very simple. It's based on the amount of buyers and the amount of sellers. It's a free market. So if there's more buyers, the price goes up. The fact that Wall Street and these big hedge funds are now losing, it's suddenly manipulation. It's not manipulation when these high-frequency traders are taking money away from the retail investor every single day. That's not manipulation. That's okay. But when David and Goliath go at it, and Goliath gets beat, and now it's a big deal. But again, my biggest fear here, Buck, is that the government comes in and they try to regulate this. They regulate chat rooms. They regulate who can buy or sell. They stop trading in stocks. That is not a free market.
Matt, you also have people feeling more and more like if this were somehow in the other direction, right? If the hedge funds were engaged in, let's say, going on TV and telling everybody, buy this stock that they happen to be long, that the hedge funds were investing in, that's fine. But Reddit threads, these online platforms where people are just coming together and sharing ideas, they're not only being put under scrutiny, they're being shut down in some cases. They're closing off these chat rooms. Robinhood blocked people from making trades today. How is that a free market?
It absolutely is. And you make a great point there. Back near the market bottom, Bill Ackman, a big billionaire hedge fund guy, came on CNBC and said this market's basically, it's in such danger. We learned later he was buying that day. As he's scaring people, pushing the market down, he's buying. That's manipulation that should put you in jail, in my opinion. Meanwhile, this is a group of people. This is no different than when The stock market started down in Wall Street underneath a tree saying buy and sell and going back and forth, getting together. This is what America is all about. This is a free market, and they're trying to shut us down.
Is this the beginning of a greater decentralization and democratization of our financial systems, especially when you add this, Matt, to the rise of crypto as a very real asset class? What do you see happening here going forward?
You make a great point, because I don't think you're going to see another broker dealer come in and say, "Hey, I'm going to let you trade these stocks," because they have the SEC and FINRA, everybody looking down on them, so they don't want to get in trouble. But what you're going to see is called DeFi. It's a subsector of the cryptocurrencies, decentralized finance. So now you can exchange money, trade stocks, trade anything, really without the government oversight, and really peer-to-peer. That is the future. And a lot of these DeFi coins and tokens out there have done extremely well over the last year. It's still really risky in a Wild West. I own some personally, but this is the future. We're cutting out the middleman. Everything from stock market to title insurance to buying cars to buying houses. The middlemen are going to be wiped out in the next 10 years.
What do you think happens to the hedge fund industry now that people feel like the emperor has no clothes on some of this stuff?
In my opinion, they're on their way down anyway. They were originally created, as you mentioned before, as hedge funds to hedge. They don't hedge. They go very aggressive in one way. They blow themselves up. They start again. It's a bunch of ego-inflated people sitting around all doing the same thing. I think it's dead. They overcharge people. They've been fleecing people. They don't let the average public into it. So I think they're done. But again, let's go back to regulation real quick, Buck. Think about this. The government's told us for years, until recently, people in a 98%, unless you're a millionaire, you cannot buy into private companies. We finally changed that. So what's going to happen now? Do you think it's going to come out and the government's going to say, because you're not rich, we're going to tell you which stocks you can buy and sell? And that's basically what they're doing right now.
Matt McCall, Penn Financial. Matt, always appreciate it, man. Good to see you. Thanks for sharing your expertise.